Well, here I am. It is August 8th, 2024. Tomorrow is the deadline to register for Alopecia Palooza 2024 in beautiful Raymond, Maine at Camp Crescent Cove. Now, trust me, I get it. If you're busy and you can't make it because of your busy schedule, I understand that. I have 4 kids, and throughout our life, it was just one big, scheduling conflict after another. So I get that. However, if you're not coming because you think that that first week of school is too important, I can just let you know that that first week of school is not that important. There's nothing that will be taught after that first week that will even touch what your child and your other children, will experience in that 4-day time period of Alopecia Palooza from August 16th to the 19th. Because you get to learn how it feels to be a good human being and to see how good human beings are supposed to act in society. It's not about reading or writing or arithmetic. It's about dealing with other people. And since your kids are going to have to deal with other people, I'm not really certain that there's another lesson that's more important. But the important thing is that you have to register by 11:45 p.m. August 9th, because after that, registration is done. In the past, I was able to say, well, you know what, if you want to come, I'll let the camp know that tomorrow, there's like 3 or 4 more people. We have an arrangement with the camp that once we're done with registration, we're done. Tomorrow, August 9th at 11:45 p.m. Central Time, we are done. Get to alopeciapalooza.org. Register now so you do not miss out. That's the first thing. Second thing, I don't think there's anything in the last 20 years that I've been doing this that has been more rewarding to me than actually dealing with the families, dealing with the kids, dealing with anyone that is close to alopecia. There are so many different levels of alopecia. I mean, you might have a child that has a bald spot and it might be hidden underneath their hair, and they'll never experience any ridicule or any lack of confidence or self-esteem because they can cover it up. And then you have kids that have alopecia totalis, where the majority of their hair might be gone on the top of their head, but they still have their facial hair and their body hair, so therefore it's not as big of a deal. So they can make the conscious decision to wear a hat or a wig or shave their head, and their eyebrows and their eyelashes are still there, so they still feel as if they are still the same person. It's not until you get to the point where you get to alopecia universalis where you're like, all right, this is a game changer. I have absolutely no hair on my body, and my identity is totally gone. It's forgotten. It disappeared. How can I let people know who I am when who I was is gone? Well, it's simple. Kids with alopecia that have universalis, even totalis, you are still the same kid. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is how you look. And the cool thing is, I can promise you, moving into the future, your change is going to continue to happen. You're never going to stay the same. Every single year from this day forward, you will always change. And every single time that you change, whether you get taller or bigger or skinnier, you are always the same. Deep down inside, you are who you are. Change who you are, then obviously you're going to change everything. But keep being you, because people like you not because of what you look like. People don't like you because of what the cover looks like. People like you because of what is inside. And I know you might be thinking, well, that's just a corny way of saying, well, my mom and dad say I'm handsome or I'm beautiful, so that's all that matters. Well, guess what? They're right. And yes, they have to say that because they're your mom and your dad, but they say that because it's true. I can back them up. I can look at you and say, you know what? You are absolutely perfect exactly the way you are, and you will change. So that day when you have absolutely no hair on your body and then all of a sudden you have all this hair, you're still the same person. The abundance of hair or the lack of hair has nothing to do with who you are. It's who you are that people care about. That's what matters. People don't like you because of your shirt. They don't like you because you're black or white. They don't like you because you're tall or you're short or you're skinny or big. They don't care how much hair you have or how much hair you don't have. They don't care if you wear glasses. They don't care if you have freckles. They don't care if you have brown hair, black hair, red hair, blonde hair. And sorry, if you're feeling bad, they don't care if you have hair. You do, but they really don't. And if they do, that's their problem. It's not your problem. Let them think whatever they want. It's not your problem, it's their problem, because you are perfect. And in 10 years from now, you're going to look totally different whether you have hair or not. And so will they. And trust me, because I'm 57, when I look back to the kids that I thought were really cool when I was 15, I'm feeling pretty good about myself today. I'm not saying I'm better. I'm just saying I feel good. And I promise you, you're going to think the same thing. Alopecia Palooza reinforces all of those things. Because you bring a whole bunch of other kids with alopecia, with a bunch of mentors and adults that have alopecia, and you bring them all together and you get to say, you know what? I am normal. Because this is just the way it is. And as you move forward in life, you're going to continue thinking that you're more and more normal because you get to hang out with people that are just like you. It makes it seem more normal. And there's no such thing as normal, by the way. The only thing I can promise you is that everyone is different. So I guess instead of saying normal, it's just everyone's different. And you're always going to be different. Always. From this day into the future, you will always be different. But if you are who you are, you're always going to be perfect exactly the way you are. I know it sounds really crazy. It's like, well, normal. There is no such thing as normal. If you're different, you're normal, because everyone in this world is different. And no one stays the same. We continue to be different. And by continuing to be different, that allows us to continuously be normal. The problem is that you have to understand that, and you have to acknowledge it, and you have to believe it. And you have to, because at one time I had a full head of hair. My part was right down the middle. I had feathered hair, and I had perfectly curled mullets, but I don't have that anymore. When I did, that was the perfect version of me. 30 years later, this is the perfect version of me. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was a totally different person back then. But back then, I was a perfect version of who I was. I've just evolved to be who I am today. And every one of you, whether you are a parent of a cap kid, a sibling of a cap kid, or a cap kid or teen, it's the same. You're going to change. And every time you do, you're perfect. Now, you can go ahead and not believe me, but I've been doing this for 20 years. And the one thing I know is that I'm right. It's the only thing I can say. I have 4 daughters and a wife. I can never say I'm right about the stuff, but I can tell you I'm right about this. Because I've experienced it, I've lived it. I speak, my gosh, I don't even understand, like when I think about it, how many schools I've spoken at over the years. How many countries and states I've visited. And the one thing I can promise you is that everyone is different. And that's the first thing you have to do. The second thing is listen to your mom and dad and attend cap kid group get-togethers. 10 camps, alopecia. But in 2025, we're refocusing the emphasis back on the cap kid group. We need to get kids involved locally. And then we want them to get excited to come nationally to an Alopecia Palooza, where we can have kids from all over the country that have already gotten to know each other regionally to come to Alopecia and share what they've learned to other kids that are coming from different parts of the country that they might not have the opportunity of being part of a group. So, alopeciapalooza.org. Tomorrow. Well, actually, when I post this, it's not going to be tomorrow. Today, Friday, August 9th, 11:45 p.m. That's your deadline, Eastern Time. So if you are considering going to Alopecia Palooza, this is it. You don't have another opportunity. In the past, I've had the luxury of saying, well, it's past the deadline, we can get you in. I can't do that this time. So please, if you want to go, if you want to attend, and if you feel like you can't for any reason, you need to contact me. And the easiest way of doing that is just email me at info@children'salopeciaproject.org. But more importantly, to alopeciapalooza.org and register for Alopecia Palooza 2024 in Raymond, Maine at beautiful Camp Crescent Cove. That's our first year being there, and I know it's going to be a great time. Also, if you can't make it to Alopecia Palooza, we still have one more camp for 2024, and that is Cap Kid Camp New York. And it's really simple to register there too. It's capkidcampnewyork.org. So there you have it. This is my last post on Alopecia Palooza. Register, bring your family, and be part of the magic. It's my favorite 4 days of the whole year. And if you attend, I promise you, it's going to be your favorite 4 days too. We'll see you next week.